Alright, hey, welcome to Elementary Algebra Math 410 with Mr. Pacheco. This lecture date for November 17th, 2021. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. Remember, this is a video lecture, so make sure you take advantage of pausing, rewinding to rewatch an example or etc. to just pretty much help you work through these problems. We're going to start off with 10.4, slope and rate of change, where the slope is the slant or the steepness of a line. So the slope of a line, and you can pause to write this down, is the slope m of the line containing the points x1, y1, x2, y2, which is two separate points, is given by m equals rise over run, which is the same thing as a change in y over a change in x, which is equal to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, as long as x2 does not equal x1. And this is a formula to find slope, guys. This is right here. This is the formula to find slope. If given 2 points. If given 2 points. Which we will see an example in this lecture, I'm sure. Alright, let's keep moving on. So before we move on to actual problems, I want you to understand something here. So if the line is going upwards from left to right, is going upwards, like you see a stick figure going uphill, it's a positive slope, okay? M is greater than 0. If this line is going down and someone's walking downhill from left to right, downhill, then it's a negative slope, okay? And then we have horizontal line, slope is 0. Slope is 0 and it's y equals c. And then x equals c is a vertical line that's an undefined slope or no slope at all. But undefined is what we're going to be used to calling it, okay? Remember, pause this here so you can draw these summaries of slopes on your notebook. It's going to be a great asset for you as you work on your assignments and study for test 4. So look at A. Find the slope of the line through -1, 5 and 2 minus 2 comma -3. Graph the line. So first we're going to go ahead and start with finding the slope first. So remember, the formula for slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to label my points, guys. So this is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to go ahead and plug that into the formula. So y2 is -3. So it'll be -3 minus y1. Y1 was a positive 5. So just plug it in 5 because this minus is in the equation here. So let's keep going. x2 is positive 2. And then minus x1, so minus needs to be there. x1 is -1. So now we go ahead and simplify this. So -3 minus 5. You owe me $3, but you spent 5, so you still owe me $8. Two negatives make a positive, so negative negative makes a positive. So 2 plus 1 is just 3. So m is equal to -8 over 3. To graph the line, guys, all you have to do is really just plot the 2 points. So -1, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here, and then positive 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right here. And there you go. And if you look at that, you go see that these are actually like the points of the slope. So it's -8, right? So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down 8, right? -8. And then we run 3. 1, 2, 3. So you see how the slope kind of gets you the line as well. Something to think about as you work through these examples, guys. So B, find the slope of the line through -1, comma -2, and then 2, comma 4. Graph the line. My stomach's growling. So find the slope of the line. So now let's label. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. The equation is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's plug it in. Y2 is 4 minus, right? 4 minus. Y1 is negative 2. X2 is positive 2 and then minus, right? And then x1 is negative 1. Remember what I said? Two negatives makes a positive, so that's going to be 4 plus 2 over 2 plus 1. So it'll be 6 over 3, which is just 2. So that's our slope, right? 2 over 1. 2 is just 2 over 1. So then we just graph our line, like I said, by just plotting the 2 points. So it'll be negative 1, negative 1, negative 2 right here. That'll be positive 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then there you go. So don't overthink this component, guys. It's not that tricky as it seems. Very pretty straightforward. I want you to go ahead and try that here with these practice slopes here. So find the slope of the line through negative 4, 11 and 2, 5. So this is a practice, so you can pause here and try it out. I'm just gonna work it out. So m equals, so just label x1, y1, x2, y2. Notice how, as a professor, I still label my points. This is because I want to avoid mistakes, right? So I know it's y2, right? So it'll be 5 minus 11, and it'll be 2 minus negative 4, which is negative 6 over 2 plus 4, which is negative 6 over 6, which equals to negative 1. And we're done. That's the slope. Now we're going to do the next one. So m equals y2, which is 1 minus negative 1 over 3 minus negative 3, which is just 1 plus 1, 3 plus 3, which is 2, 6, which simplifies to 1/3. You always want to simplify to the smallest fraction that you can. Alright, now we move on to the next one. It wants us to, when a linear equation in two variables is written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. M is the slope of the line, and b is the y-intercept of the line. So that's correct. So remember, m is the slope, right? M is next to the x, right? You see m is right here next to the x. And b is by itself, right? It's the one after the equation. So if it's plus, b is positive 6. If it's minus 6, b is negative 6, right? So we know m is equal to 3/4, right? Because it's next to x, and b is equal to 6. As an ordered pair, it'll be 0, 6. But we're done. Don't really overthink it, y'all. Now here in b, we have 3x minus 4y equals 4. Uh-oh. See, the reason why we can't just do this is because it's not y equals, right? We don't know what m is or b is. So we take this equation and solve for y. So then we have 3x minus 4y equals 4. So let's move the 3x over here. This becomes 0, so we get negative 4y equals 3x plus 4, right? Because it's mx plus b. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. That means everything here gets divided by negative 4. This becomes a 1. So it's y equals negative 3/4 x, right? And then 4 divided by negative 4 is just negative 1. So now that we did that, we're able to tell me what the slope is right here. And then we're able to tell me the intercept is right here, minus 1. So we can say m equals negative 3/4 and b equals negative 1. And we're done. So try not to overthink this, guys. Just keep in mind that we just pretty much have to multiply and solve for y. Not multiply, but divide, subtract. Just manipulate the equation, which we know how to solve equations now from the lessons we've done before. If solving for letters is difficult, look it up on Khan Academy or on different YouTube videos. So practice, find the slope and y-intercept, guys. Go ahead and pause it, write these down, and try them out yourself. I'm just gonna work them out. There you go. So we know m equals 2/3 and b equals negative 2. Here we want to get y by itself, so it'll be 5x plus 2y equals 8. Subtract both sides by 5x. So then we get 2y equals negative 5x plus 8. Gotta get y by itself, divide both sides by 2. And y equals negative 5 over 2x plus 4. So we now know that 4 is b. And we know negative 5 over 2 is m. M equals negative 5 over 2. And b equals positive 4. And we're done with these practice problems. Find the slope of the line y equals negative 1. Since we know it's y equals, there's no x value here. We know this is a horizontal line. And we know horizontal lines is m equals 0. If you look here with this problem here, b, find the slope of x equals 5. That's an x equals line. It's a vertical line, which unfortunately is undefined. We have an undefined slope. So when it's a vertical line, it's undefined. If it's a horizontal line, it's 0. So this is horizontal. And this is a vertical line. Keep that in mind. So practice, find the slope of the line y equals 3, x equals negative 4. Keep that in mind. Just remember, this is just practice problems, so don't overthink it. Alright, now parallel lines. Non-vertical parallel lines have the same slope and different y-intercepts. Perpendicular lines, if the product of the slopes of two lines is negative 1, then the lines are perpendicular. Two non-vertical are perpendicular if the slope of one is the negative reciprocal of the slope of the other. So that's pretty much going to be the key here to finding perpendicular. It's the negative reciprocal. And now to help you explain what negative reciprocal means, I have this here. So if you have 2/3 as the number, the negative reciprocal will be negative 3 over 2. So I went ahead and came up and gave you this helpful hint for you guys to write into your notebook. And you can see that the product is negative 1 when you multiply these two. You get a negative 1. Even a whole number has a negative reciprocal. So if negative 5, it's just the same thing as negative 5 over 1. The reciprocal, you just flip it. And negative is, if it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. Here's a second helpful hint as well, saying that two distinct vertical lines are parallel, two distinct horizontal lines are parallel, and the horizontal and vertical line are always perpendicular. This last one is going to kind of come in clutch at the end towards this lesson, so keep that in mind. A horizontal line and vertical line are always perpendicular. Let's keep moving on. Okay. Determine whether each pair of the lines is parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So what we want to do here is we want to get all of them in y equals and just pretty much highlight the m. And if they're the same m, then they're parallel. If they're opposite reciprocals, then they're perpendicular. If they're not opposite reciprocals or the same, then it's neither. So we got to solve for y. So here 2x plus 10y equals 3, solve for y. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 2x on both sides. We get 10y equals negative 2x plus 3. Divide both sides by 10. So then we get y equals negative 1/5, right? Because it reduces or simplifies. And then this is the new slope, right? Because y is by itself now. And they're the same, right? Negative 1/5, negative 1/5. So these lines are parallel. Now b, we have to get y by itself for these two. So x plus y equals 3. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that again. X plus y equals 3. Subtract x on both sides. Then get y equals negative x plus 3. That's one equation. So I'm going to do the other one. Switch up my color. Negative x plus y equals 4. I add x on both sides. I get y equals x plus 4. Notice how the m is right next to x. This is a negative 1 and this is a positive 1. They're opposite. They're opposite reciprocals, right? Negative 1 and 1. If you flip it, because remember, negative 1 over 1. When you flip it, it becomes 1 over negative 1. But we want the opposite, which is a positive 1. So these are opposite reciprocals. So since they're opposite reciprocals, they are perpendicular. All right. Let's go ahead and solve for y for both of these two. So 3x plus y equals 5. Subtract 3x on both sides. So then we get y equals negative 3x plus 5. That's one equation. Get the next one going. 2x plus 3y equals 6. Subtract 2x on both sides. So we get 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. Divide both sides by 3. We get negative 2/3. That's kind of not the same thing as negative 3. So this is going to be a neither example. So neither is very much possible, guys. It is your job to figure out how a neither looks like. So this means it's not the same and it's not opposite reciprocal. I'm going to need you guys to really focus down on the parallel and perpendicular to know the difference. To remember that they have the same slope and then they have the negative reciprocal. Remember that, and you should be good on this practice problem, okay? Pause here to take a look at these practice problems. You want to find out if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So I'm going to go ahead and just solve for this, right? So A, we have y equals negative 5x plus 1. So we already know what the slope is here. It's right there. You know it's that. So the second one is going to be x minus 5y equals 10. I'm going to subtract x on both sides. So then I get negative 5y equals negative x plus 10. Divide both sides by negative 5, which means everything on the right gets divided by negative 5. So we get negative 1/5 x minus 2. So negative 1/5. So they are reciprocals, but they're both negative, which, oh, actually, two negatives make a positive. I didn't see that, guys. Negative, negative makes a positive. So they are opposite and they are reciprocals. So A is, if they're opposite reciprocals, then they are perpendicular. Okay, let's look at B. So B, x plus y equals 11. Subtract x on both sides, we get y equals negative x plus 11. So we know m is equal to negative 1. So the second equation, so we get 2x plus y equals 11. So subtract 2x on both sides. So then we get y equals negative 2x plus 11. So right there, m is negative 2. They're both negative, so they're not opposite. They're not the same, so this is going to be neither. All right, last one, C. So we have 2x plus 3y equals 21. I want to get y by itself, so subtract 2x on both sides. So then we get 3y equals negative 2x plus 21. Divide by both sides by 3. Remember, it's a negative 2x. So then we get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7. Because 21 divided by 3 is 7, right? So there's negative 2/3 right there. Now for this other c, right here 6y, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 6 here. Because you know how y is 6y, so divide both sides by 6. So then this becomes y is equal to negative 4 over 6, right? But negative 4 over 6 is just negative 2/3 because 2 goes into 4 and 6. X minus 1/3. So right there, look at the m here. Negative 2/3, negative 2/3. If they're both the same class, same slope, then they are parallel. And we are done with this practice problem, guys. So this has a lot of practice with solving for y. So make sure you're doing that on your own, practicing solving for y, getting the same answers as I'm getting. All right, we're on the last section, guys. Last section, 10.5. Equations of lines. So recall the slope-intercept form. When a linear equation in two variables is written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, 0, b is the y-intercept, I use the slope form to graph the equation. So how do we do that? So to do that, you want to label m and b. So we know m is equal to 3/5. We know b equals to -2, which as an order pair is 0, -2. So this is where you're going to start with. You're going to plot the b first. 0, -2. So it has to be on the y-axis, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, we know slope is rise over run. So 3/5. So we're going to rise 3. 1, 2, 3, and run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have your 2 points, guys, get your graphing tool. And for you guys, it should be a ruler. It was on the supply list, so make sure you keep that in mind. And there you go. You have your line going through the 2 points. Make sure it covers through both of them as best as you can. And you're good. Practice here, right? So m is next to x, right? So m equals 2/3. B equals -5. So as an ordered pair, that's 0, comma, -5. That's going to be the first point that we graph. Slope is up 2, rise 2. 1, 2, run 3. 1, 2, 3. Notice that we always run to the right, right? So it's rise and run. So it's going to be up and then to the right. Now, if it's a negative slope, it's going to be fall. You're going to go down, but we still run to the right, okay? So then you draw your line to connect the 2 dots, and you're good to go. Find an equation of the line with y-intercept 0, -3, and slope of 1/4. So it's telling us that b equals -3 and m equals 1/4. Remember the formula y equals mx plus b. Plug this in. This goes in for m, and this goes in for b. So then we get y equals 1/4 x minus 3. And we're done. Practice. Find an equation of the line with y-intercept 0, 7, slope of 1/2. So we know m equals, remember, pause it. M equals 1/2. B equals 7. So by equals 1/2 x plus 7. And we're done. So point slope of the equation of a line is point slope. You have the 3 different equations. We have standard form ax plus by equals c, slope intercept y equals mx plus b, and point slope y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1, where x1 y1 is a point on the line. You can actually convert one to all 3. Just requires a lot of algebra skills, which we have been developing. So we're gonna go ahead and use them all together today. Okay. So find an equation of the line with slope -2 that passes through -1/5. Write the equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and in standard form ax plus by equals c. So let's see what happens here. So this is x1, y1, right? So -1, 5 is x1, y1. Remember, the first equation that we know, or the newest one I taught you, is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Well, slope is -2, so that's m is equal to -2. So let's plug it in. So y1 is 5, so it'll be y minus 5, right? Because y1 is 5. M was -2, so I'm going to erase m and write -2. X minus, right, -1. So then let's go ahead and simplify. So this becomes plus, right? So we have the first one, point slope. This is point slope form. So now we're going to solve for y to get slope intercept. Solve for y to get slope intercept form, which is this one right here, y equals mx plus b. So x plus 1, right, we're going to distribute the 2, which we know this property already, so it'll be -2x minus 2. Bring down the y minus 5. Go ahead and add 5 on both sides. So then we get y equals -2x plus 3. So that's the first one, slope-intercept form. Now to get standard form ax plus by, we just need to have the x and y on the same side. So we take this same equation, y equals negative 2x plus 3, and we want to get every x and y on the same side. So how do we move a negative 2x to the other side? Well, we add it. Oh, so then we get 2x plus y equals 3, and you're done. So you only want to just get x on the other side. Now you can't have any fractions involved. So let's say we had like let's say we have 2 over 4. We will multiply everything by 4 to get rid of the fraction. A cannot be a fraction. So A cannot be a fraction. Or there cannot be a fraction. Cannot be A or B. I don't think any of them really. A cannot be a fraction. A, B, or C cannot be fractions. That's what I remember from algebra. If I'm wrong, my apologies, but I feel like we cannot have a fraction in the answer. Um, Practice. Find an equation of the line passing through 2, 3 with slope 4. Write the equation in standard form. So we now know the steps, right? The first thing is use point slope formula, which is y1. I mean not y1. Oh, so we wanted to do y1. Oh, I already got it wrong again. Y minus y1, right? Equals m parentheses x minus x1. So this is x1, y1, and we know m equals 4. So it'll be y minus 3 equals 4 parentheses x minus 2. Distribute the 4. We get 4x minus 8, y minus 3. Add 3 on both sides. Then we get y equals 4x minus 5. Remember, we want to get 4x to the other side, so we're going to go ahead and subtract by 4x on both sides. So then we get negative 4x plus y equals negative 5. Now, I think it's in standard form, but if I remember correctly, I don't think you can have a negative a, or was it a fraction? So in case you can have a negative a, you just got to multiply the whole thing by negative 1. And it changes the sign. So negative 4x becomes 4x minus y equals positive 5. That's if this one's not the right answer. I can't remember from the top of my head about A. But yeah, you can always manipulate this the way you need to, guys, to get the answer you need. Use the help me solve this or try an example on your My Math Lab to help you out with this, okay? We want to find an equation of a vertical line through negative 1, 5. So vertical line means it's an x equals line. And so this is x comma y. To go through this vertical line here at negative 1, 5, we need to go through the x value, which is negative 1. It's very important that you understand that. So whatever this x value is, that's what your vertical line is going to be, okay? Now, horizontal line is through this one. We're going to look at the y value, right? Because it's a y equals number, so it'll be y equals 8. So find an equation of the vertical line through this one. Remember, the x value is the same. Now find an equation parallel to x equals 9. So I'm going to draw you the picture here. So you can do the same thing. X equals 9 is a vertical line right there. It wants you to find a parallel line passing through negative 1, 7. So it wants you to go through here. It wants a vertical line parallel, since it wants it to be parallel to this. So x equals what? Negative 1, which is just the x value right here. So don't overthink these guys. It's parallel, so it's not going to touch this at all. Perpendicular of y equals negative 9, or y equals positive 9. Be a horizontal line here. It wants you to find a perpendicular line passing through negative 6, 8, which is right here. Perpendicular, remember, perpendicular to a horizontal is a vertical line. So I hope you remember that, vertical. And it's through what x value? x equals -6. And the cool thing is it's right here in the equation. Did you need to graph it? No, but I'm giving you a visual representation for all my visual learners, guys. Hopefully, this lesson was enough for you, concise enough for you to understand the different components of linear equations and the different methods. Please rewatch any components if you need explanation again. And there's also other videos on my lab and mastery as well as YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Peace and love.